All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Tarzan versus Predator at the Earth's Core by Lee Weeks and Walter Simonson. This is issue number 3 or 4 from Dark Horse Comics. And we're going to dive right in, Lee Weeks cover. So, Tarzan's still a little bit enraged. He has a short temper, by the way. I didn't know that. He escaped the Predators and then he is getting, seeing this guy called David Innes. He was, an emperor of his empire, right? But people thought him dead, and now you see suddenly out of nowhere he's just here and says, "Hey, I need your help, Tarzan." He explains what happens. It seems that he was been captured by how do you say saggats? The saggats. I mean, those are these creatures, right? He says, "Took him unaware in the night and captured me, killing my men. I was staked out and taken by creatures the likes of whom I've never seen before in all of Pellucidar. They brought me here and one of them stalked me like an animal. We fought, and in the end, the broken rock of the cliff face betrayed him. He slipped and fell to his death. I hung my bloodied shirt at the cliff's edge and hid. The ruse worked. The other hunters thought I too had died." So he says he was hidden in the tunnel since, right? But he says, "I've been waiting for a chance, and now you are here. But speak, what of my wife, Diane the Beautiful? What of my kingdom, and the traitor Jason Gritley?" Tarzan says, "He rules your kingdom with an iron hand, and Jana rules beside him. The Saggats are his army. Diane is alive, but kept as their slaves." "Diane? Impossible! She'd sooner kill herself than to be a slave." "It's true," says Tarzan. "I saw it with my own eyes. Her spirit was broken. Tarzan, we must escape this wretched place, and soon." All right. Meanwhile, we have this, one of his Tarzan soldiers' friends, of his tribe, is being brought forth by Jason, Emperor of Pellucidar, fake emperor. He says, "Bring me the delicacy." And this woman says, "No, please, no," right? And because he had his fill with this guy. So I'm not sure what this creature did. He says, "I have learned enough." So I'm okay. Maybe some interrogation. And she says, "No, please, no." And said, "You do not want to refuse me. You cannot refuse me." "Yes, my pretty, you are beautiful and adore beauty. Come here to me. I am well pleased." Celebrates Jason, celebrates Jana, celebrate the passion as the pretty and I become one. Now I have something to say about that, if I'm not forgetting. That's a big mustache, man. So she is the wife of David, right? And then this is probably, he was once upon a time his advisor and he betrayed him. All right, meanwhile, we have one predator left stalking Tarzan. I mean, in this hidden, abandoned city. But then he's getting his skull crushed by this big rock of stone. And Tarzan says, "The last hunter is dead. He didn't know there were two of us and thought that it was you. But the game has changed. Now we play by our rules. This little cannon may well come in handy." Yeah, and there's also some grenades, also in the last issue that Tarzan used. And he says, "Well, I'm going to use them again." And then they go to the hideout of the predators. There's some towers, pylons, pillars with electricity. So he's using the hand cannon as a gun, I guess, and destroys this pillar. Short circuit. You know what I mean. English is not my native language, right? So he throws then the grenades, and the predators are done, but there's way more, right? He says, Tarzan smells something, and he says, "Jane, she's alive. But then this is the trophy room, right? And all of these skulls have been, this is the trophies because they're predators killing people and get them as trophies. But then Tarzan smells, there is a scarf. "My wife's scarf's a trophy," he says, right? And he's, so David says, "I hear something outside," and he rushes outside, Tarzan. David says, "Still wait, I still got the cannon." All right, so Tarzan jumps in, and so this predator is shooting at him, right? But Tarzan has some kind of a and a berserker rage. So he grabs his gun and then pulls it towards his face and then pulls the trigger. Now he's dead, but Tarzan's still mad and he's want to break his face open. Oh, look at this anatomy, man, with the back muscles and the details. I mean, there's also a little bit print errors that I believe the ink is not really well done. I mean, there's a lot of fading away of dialogue, as you can see here, right? Now, there is one thing that I have to point out. If you look closely, this predator hand looks like a human hand instead of, these, claw, big hands with claws. I mean, they have big hands. Is it here? I mean, see? Well, a little bit. Anyway, maybe... Wait a minute. Just give me a second. Claws, claws, claws. Maybe this guy. See? His claws, right? But then it doesn't make any sense. And even now, it looks like he has human hands. Anyway, but he has that yellow blood-ish. And David comes in, Tarzan, it's over. You killed him. No, David, it's not over, he says. This is only the beginning. I swear that I shall not remove my beloved scarf until I have slain every last of these predators. And then we go to Ambassador Sneftley, who betrayed Tarzan, and did he betray Tarzan? No, he betrayed Jane. Tarzan wasn't there, right? And he's now finding a radio. He says, Mayday, Mayday call from Pellucidar. So this guy says, hey, this is Ed in California. I'm receiving you. Who is this again? Over? Snefty from the Foreign Service. Where's Washington? You must relay an urgent message to the Department of the Army at once. Section 8, tell them that... Uh-oh. Oh, shit. He says, tell them that I need nothing. Everything is fine. They don't need to send anybody. Over and out. So this reminds me of Sauron, from Marvel Comics. And this creature, it's a she, by the way. So it's a female. Is hypnotizing him, and he says, you cannot refuse me. Come with me into the shadows. Now, I was a little bit confused here in the beginning when he took this young girl and says, come here as the pretty and I become one. All right. Make of it what you will. Meanwhile, we have this guy that was interrogated by, here in the beginning. He says, I betrayed you. I couldn't do anything. Probably the creature scanned his brain with his telepathy or hypnotism or something. But he got a knife off the guard, right? So the knife cuts it back. He's dead. So they break out, but then they hear a noise and they attack and snap. Oh no, it's just Tarzan. Joma, my young friend, had I been a split second slower, my pelt would be yours. I gather you know these men, says David. All right, so everybody's together again, and there's also this guy called Abner Perry. Who? Yeah, I don't know. So they say, we need to go to the King's Quarter and capture Jason and Jana. So Jason says, hey, where's my Sagans? And Jana says, what could the prisoner have left to say? Jason, something isn't right. Of course, they are too late. Tarzan and the friends are attacking, capturing these guys. And so David comes in and smacks him in the face. Now, Jason, we want answers, and we will have them one way. And he also smacks his wife and, I don't know, the female guard or another. And then he says, David, Tarzan here? It's good to see you again. What's going on? He shakes his hand, and I said, wait, what? You just betrayed the whole thing. Now, it seems that he was on the thrall of that lizard creature, as is explained here. He says that the creature has strange eyes and so compelling. I remember nothing else. So you remember enough, Jason. Your pupils of your eyes were dilated, and you have confirmed my worst fears. You were involved by a Mahar. They have returned. Who are the Mahar? I don't know. Maybe that is Tarzan lore or something. Anyway, so they discovered there's some kind of a cellar access to the creature's lair. And they think, what are these Mahars? When I first arrived in Pellucidar, says David, they were a ruling race of reptiles, descended Abner thinks from the, how do you say that? Ramphorinci of the other was a Mesozoic age. I'm not going to repeat that again. Anyway, so they became intelligent and helped much of Pellucidar's humanity in slavery. We broke the back of the terrible empire, but we did not, it seems, destroy them all. So there's a passage here, right? And they are feeding in the water pools on human flesh. I like the colors here, right? And also these skulls here. Pretty cool. So, but then they rise from the water, but it's, oh no, they already been prepared because they are here, the Mahar, and try to feed on them. But then Tarzan says, they are too intent on their meal to notice us. We must be swift. Do not look into their eyes. All right, so he throws then a knife into this creature's throats, and he says attack. Well, he says not attack, but that's what it means. All right, so we're having a fight to the death. I think, yeah, cool. And but so all these creatures are getting dispatched except for this one. But then David comes in and he says, "You do nothing, monster. Your day is over. We have the Mahar." He pulls this cloth around his eyes, right? And then, oh no, they also found Ambassador Swiftly is bleeding out, right? And he says, "I'm dying. Not much time. I overheard the guards. The Mahar and the predator creatures are in league. The predators use the Mahar to supply humans and Saggats. They hunt dinosaurs too. No sport in Mahar is too easy to kill. Mahar uses predators to frighten and subdue humans, regain control of the Pellucidar. But she fears them." Talk about the creature. "Their weapons, plans to overwhelm, kill them with empire of slaves. I am sorry, you are all expendable. I sacrificed your wife to get here. Tried to radio Washington. I failed." So he betrays them, but I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, did he want to be captured and radio then Washington for more troops to come in? And I don't know, to do what? I don't know, but he dies anyway. And he says, "Where's Jane?" And he says, "I don't know." But this creature says, "Swiftly is dead, but he has told us everything. But then he was a wiser human than I thought," says the creature. So, like I said, it's a little bit fading away with the ink here. So Tarzan said, "I want to, I'm not kill you in cold blood, but the other ones might. Why should you live?" He says, "Because, warrior, I know the fate of the woman you love." "Jane?" "The very same. What happened to her?" says Tarzan. "Target, my servant, was there. Let him speak." So Target says, "Women taken at camp with others, given to them. Those they take never come back." So the creature says, "They may be alive, and you will not be able to save her. Perhaps I will." "Tarzan," says David, "I am the Ancient of Days, oldest and most powerful of the Mahar race. You have slain my children, and now I have come back to what you have stolen from. And now I have to come take back what you have stolen from me." And he says, "Tarzan, stop her. She's hypnotizing him." And I said, "What? How? She has this blindfold on?" But so Tarzan and the others are still under the influence, right? And this creature says, "I, who was learned at the art of seduction before you forever fathers were even born, and only my death can release them. Fools to think a mere blindfold could restrain my power." I like that switcheroo. "Well done, slaves. And you, mighty warrior," he says, "you have won a prize for your work here today. Come in, my dear." So it's Jane, right? He says, "I chose to let Gridley rule because I would see Innes, the slayer of my kin, dead, and so I shall. But Tarzan, so resourceful, so dangerous, will lead the might of Pellucidar against the predator when the time is right, and your wife, whom I decided to save, will be at your side. She was expensive, but together you will create a dynasty that will rule this land, and through you the Mahar reign of Pellucidar will continue forever." And that leads us to the next issue. Super cool. I like it. We already did this one. This was super cool too. Check it out, my videos, if you want to see Tarzan, Warlord of Mars with John Carter. Fantastic. I like that. You know, there's some questions, you know, some weird stuff with the Predator hand. Maybe there was an error in the artist. Who knows? But overall, a fun comic. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about it. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.